Hey everyone, how's it going? My name is Jay and welcome to the channel and welcome back to Planet Zoo. I have been gone for quite a while, so I do apologize. It has been well over a month. I am sorry for that. I'll explain kind of where I've been, what's been going on in my life in just a little bit. But first of all, as you can see, this is not any of our pre-existing projects, which I know might be a bit like, yeah, Jay, you haven't finished anything yet, why are you starting something new? But I've had this idea for a while and I've really wanted to tackle it. And I'm not going to quite tell you what it is as of yet, actually. But I've had the idea for this for a while and I wanted to really get into it. And what I realized quite quickly is that this is a project I could only do with the use of mods. So this is going to be my first foray into modding Planet Zoo. So before we get started, and I'll say this at the start of every one of these videos for this series, modding is not officially supported by Frontier. If you do mod, you do so at your own discretion. There's plenty of tutorials out there that will help you do it and do it safely, but at the end of the day, modding is something that will potentially break your game if it gets updated, if the game updates officially, and then you'll kind of have to wait for mods to update and stuff like that. It's a bit of a process, but you do get some really cool stuff with mods, and some of the stuff really I couldn't do without it, so I thought, you know, it's worth doing mods for this series. Just a quick note as well, this is not going to change any of my other Planet Zoo series, October Lake or Set Point. Both of those are going to remain 100% unmodded, just because those parks I can build 100% without mods, and I've been doing so for a long time, and I want those parks to be fully accessible to you guys once I finish with them if you want to explore them on the Steam Workshop and stuff. So I'll 100% keep those unmodded so you guys will have access to those once they're finished. But yeah, like I said, this park will really benefit from it, and I think as we go forward you're going to start seeing exactly why. But I am being a little bit coy about it. It's going to be quite obvious soon once you'll pick up on it. Maybe even through this episode you'll see the name of the save file and you'll quickly like, oh, that's what Jay's doing, that's what she's doing. It's just but yeah, it's been something I've been wanting to do for a while, and it's finally given me the kind of the motivation I needed to really get back into Planet Zoo. But yeah, while we're building, I'll just explain quickly what's going on here. So as you can see, we're not building on a flat map, we're actually building on which map is this? It's from one of the scenarios, one from the campaign. I think it's the one set in India, and I think that's where this park is going to be set as well. It's going to be in India, where there are these rolling kind of dry arid hills. I've been to some of those in Mumbai back when I was a kid, and they're really cool, very arid, very hot, and again, that's going to give you a bit of an idea of what we're kind of aiming for in this park. A bit of a really warm, arid environment, very hot, very dry, very different from all the parks we built before. And this map is great because it has a huge body of water off to the left, and while we can't directly work with it, the body of water provides kind of an interesting access point, so to speak, in quotation marks, of course. As you can see on the left, that you might see when we zoom out later actually, the body of water kind of flows into a little bit of a river just off the map boundaries, and it kind of flows into what looks a bit like a cave. It's not really a cave off the map boundaries, so I thought we can imply that that is a bit of a cave and that the water kind of turns in under the rock and comes out this way, and this is where people could actually access the park through this like kind of like archway, I guess, and then there's a little alcove with this water in here, and that's where boats can dock and then they can come back out and unload their stuff or stuff like that. But of course it's not super realistic. I cannot imagine this is by any means like logical. The boat would definitely get stuck at some point, stuff like that, you know, so it doesn't make the most sense, but I think it looks pretty cool, and I like having a boat access point for this park. As you can see, I'm just putting in some water plants, doing some rock work, dirtying up the water, a lot of concrete around here, very utilitarian, because this is just where stuff gets unloaded, and there's not an awful lot of like, you know, decorative elements here. I am so excited to be working with dry plants because there's some gorgeous kind of like plants, a lot from the Africa pack that are really beautiful, and I just never get to use them because they are just not suitable for the taiga or temperate biomes that we tend to be working with in October Lake and Everset Point. Quick note about Everset Point, I have no idea if I'm going to continue that park. I, for some reason, just really struggled to build in it. October Lake, 100% going to still keep going. I am dedicated to finishing that project. Everset Point, still no clue why I'm struggling to build in it. If you have any ideas why I somehow can't build properly in there, maybe it's the lack of terrain changes. Like with October Lake, because lots of the terrain was already kind of terraformed before I started building because it was a campaign map. I guess I found it a lot easier to just build on top of, and it was giving me stuff to work with. I could build against cliffs, I could build on top of cliffs, things like that. Whereas Everset Point, everything's a bit flat, so it's a bit tricky to get stuff that actually looks quite good. So I might go back into Everset Point at some point and maybe restructure the whole thing. But if not, I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But October Lake isn't going to go anywhere anytime soon, so do not worry one bit about that. That'll 100% still be going. But yeah, while we're doing this dock area, and it'll keep going for a little bit before I need to talk about the stuff, let's talk about where I've been for the past month and a half or so. So I've actually moved house quite recently. It was a pretty big move. I was moving from I used to live in a basement studio flat, which was not ideal. I was just not having a good time there. But I've moved in with my partner now, August, my boyfriend. We've just moved in together, which has been really, really nice, into a bit of a larger one-bedroom place with a garden. So I'm very excited and very happy to have moved here. Now we're living here with our 2 pets. Of course, he has a dog named Dante, who is the most adorable little guy. Bit of a gremlin. He causes chaos wherever he goes, but he is very cute, so he kind of gets away with it. And of course my snake, Ike. Do not worry, those two do not come into contact with each other whatsoever. I feel like that would end in tragedy, so they're staying well away from each other. But the move has just taken a lot of time. We've moved in now for about 4 weeks. We've been in here for about 4 weeks, but there's just been so much to do, so much to unpack. Just sorting out loads and loads of logistic stuff. It's just been a bit of an intense process, so I've just not had an awful lot of time. Work has been really quite busy as well. For those of you who don't know, I work as a researcher for science documentaries, and right now we're kind of in a busy period where there's a few different shoots going out and stuff like that, so we've just got a lot of different things to be catching up on and doing a lot of work on. So it's just been a busier period at work, so that's also taken up quite a lot of my time. And some of these film shoots happen overseas, and I kind of have to look after them from here in terms of making sure the facts are all right and stuff, and that just means time zones are involved, and it just gets really, really complex, and it's just it's not the easiest to manage, but it's a fantastic job. I still absolutely love it, and I've really, really been enjoying the work. It's just been quite hectic. Beyond that as well, there's been a few other things going on. I went to both London Pride and Brighton Pride this past weekend as well. Both of those were fantastic events. Just love going to Pride in the UK. It's just it's just good vibes all around. It's just there's nothing more wholesome. It's just people sharing their love and being happy, and it's nice. There's no other word for it. It's just nice. But yeah, that's kind of where I've been, and of course that means I just have not had time for Planet Zoo, for Jurassic Evolution, any of those. It's been intense, just to say the least. Jurassic Evolution I might hop back into in a bit. The thing is with that is that I actually have recorded videos. I just never had the time to do the voiceover and the upload, so I'll probably do that soon. What else have I been doing? Prehistoric Kingdom, I'll definitely get back into that as well at some point. But yeah, what else do I have to actually say about what I've been doing over the past couple months? It feels like I've been gone quite a while, and there's been a lot that's happened, but at the same time I struggle to actually think about what I've been doing, if that makes any sense. Probably not, but it's yeah, I hope all of you have been doing well, and I hope, I thank you thanks, God, what am I trying to say? Thank you for sticking with me through these kind of inconsistent uploads and the kind of the chaos that comes with that. I gotta be honest, I think my plan for this channel moving forward is going to be to slow down a little bit, just because it's not like I was posting super regularly before, but for the better part of 2021, I managed to stick to a schedule of like 2 videos a week, one on Wednesdays, one on Saturdays, or Fridays, something like that. And I really did quite well with that schedule, if I'm not mistaken. And I really stuck to it for quite a while, and then over the past year I've kind of lost it a little bit because of how much stuff has been going on. And I think I'm not going to really revert back to a schedule or anything like that. I'm going to try and stick to, putting out videos when I'm really happy with them and when I felt like I've really wanted to play the game, and not that I don't want to be forcing anything, essentially. And I felt like I was doing that bit with Avocet Point. I was really forcing the builds and forcing the videos, and I wasn't enjoying it an awful lot, so I really want to stay away from that kind of thing, because at the end of the day, Planet Zoo, Jurassic Evolution, these are Prehistoric Kingdom, these are all games I genuinely love, and that they mean a lot to me, in the sense that when I'm feeling like stressed or down or anything, this is where I tend to go for a bit of an escape and to have some relaxed time. So I want to keep them a bit stress-free, and so if that means that the videos are going to kind of reduce in amount a little bit, I hope you understand. At the end of the day, I will still be making videos. I still enjoy it. It's just going to be at a more of a sporadic pace, I guess. Whenever I feel a bit more comfortable playing and a bit more like inspired, that's when the videos will come out, as opposed to on a strict schedule. What I might do as well is just focus a little bit more on not trying to force myself to finish entire series or to start entire series, but if I feel like I just want to do a single individual build, maybe I'll do that. Like if I want to build a habitat for something, I might just do that on its own. It doesn't have to go into a pre-existing zoo. So stuff like that, where I feel a bit more like that, I have a bit more of that freedom to do all these different things and enjoy myself while I do it, so that I don't burn myself out, I suppose. But yeah, again, thanks so much for sticking with the channel through all this. I know it's been such a long time, but yeah, it means a lot that you have stuck with me through this. And now on screen, as you can see, we've actually built a bit of a compound. What is this compound for, you might ask? Well, I'm not telling you. At least not until the next episode. I want all of you to try and figure out what I'm actually building here. You might notice everything we're building is quite utilitarian. It's very much like wood and mesh and concrete, nothing like really modern or anything like that. Even the thatch roofing here, and the thatch roofing I think will be a bit of a giveaway for what I'm building. So think about that if you're trying to figure it out. The thatch ends up looking pretty solid. I do end up tweaking it quite a bit, and it changes a few different times. I ended up keeping it very simple and adding in just a little bit of hard roofing on top to give it some contrast. But yeah, I end up not going for any of these little curved structures or anything like that, just because they're a bit too, I don't know, it's just too busy, I guess. And it kind of takes away from the look I was going for, which is utilitarian and really just not just functional, but also made with the materials that might be on hand. So yeah, that's how that building ends up going. What do we actually end up doing next? I think what's going to happen next is just essentially lots of clutter. There's going to be some really interesting things in this episode, and you're just going to, I suppose, just not get an explanation for it for a while. So do bear with me on that. I am quite excited for this project, just because modding Planet Zoo is so new to me. And I don't know if you noticed, we actually haven't used any modded stuff yet, if I'm not mistaken. I think all the modded items actually will only appear in the latter half of this video, which we've just entered now. But yeah, a lot of the new conservation pack pieces have been fantastic in this. Like these water barrels just add so much clutter and just, amazing stuff that looks like it would be in the backstage of a zoo, which is amazing, so helpful, and just looks really good as well. And in fact, I don't know if I've even started with the modding stuff here yet. You'll see it, I think, in just a bit. Of course, with mods, I gotta say, huge thanks to all the different mod creators that have made all these amazing mods. There's so many incredible creators out there that have done really, really fantastic work, and honestly, like, they do it for free, and they put in so much work. They like create original Wikipedia entries, stuff like that. The modders honestly go above and beyond, and like, show your support. If you do use mods, or if you enjoy watching videos with mods in them, do show the mod creators some support. Go leave endorsements on their mods, follow them on Twitter and stuff like that. These guys, like, all of them really put in the work. And of course, shout out to a few people who have helped me along with these with the modding process. Leaf Productions, he is the best. I love Leaf's videos, and I sent a DM a while ago asking about a very specific type of mod, and Leaf will completely know what I'm talking about here, because I was excited to build this park at the time, and this was way before, I think this is like before update 1.8 or 1.7, a while ago, and Leaf helped me out so much in pointing me in the right direction for the right types of mods and all that. So huge kudos, no, not kudos, that's the wrong word, huge thanks. But also kudos for making such incredible mods. Leaf, of course, is the name you're going to see on almost every mod on the Nexus, so Leaf is the mod person, if that's what I'm trying to say. Besides Leaf, of course, some other really important names that you're going to want to look out for. And here we go, we actually just got started with the mods, and today all we're going to use is the prop packs, actually. We're not going to use any animals, but there will be modded animals in here. And these prop packs, I'm just going to find out who made them now. Yep, so all of the prop packs I'm using are from Nicholas Lionrider. Again, incredible mod creator, just fantastic work. And we have several packs that we're using, and they are the Animal prop pack, the Exhibit prop pack, the Frontier pack, and the Safari prop pack. These are all great mod packs that have really fantastic items, as you can see on screen. This gravel kind of like segment, that is so useful and looks so good. I just have to use it everywhere. It's fantastic. Huge fan of that. The Safari prop pack especially just has so much stuff in it that really I think works super well. Beyond those four that I mentioned, there's also a new Faux Rocks pack, which I don't know if we use in this video. That is by NDPD Designs. Also a very useful mod, because the Faux Rocks in the game are brilliant. This just gives us a few more options, which are all tremendously helpful as well. But yeah, as you can see, the Safari prop pack is super helpful in giving us some really nice new wood pieces. The gravel really helps with the look I'm aiming for. And again, now that I mentioned that look that I'm aiming for, maybe you can get a bit of an idea of where I'm heading with this long term. But yeah. And what else do we do here? We just add a lot of decals, really. We end up just kind of messing around with the concrete, dirtying it up, adding in lots of scratches and like patches taken out and stuff like that. And here, what we're going to be building is a quarantine/holding pen. This is a bit of an interesting one. This will give you, hopefully this will look familiar to some of you. And if it does, you'll probably guess exactly what this is meant to look like. But yeah, it's meant to be kind of a holding pen / quarantine for animals of some description, I suppose, between when they're being moved into their final habitats, but while they need to be looked over and monitored a bit more closely, or when they need to be separated from other animals, that sort of thing. And I made like this nice wooden fence for it. Again, very utilitarian. It's just, again, based on like what they would have on hand in this location, and nothing too fancy at all. I gave it some gravel kind of bedding right at the bottom of where the fence goes into the ground, and this like kind of split area where I would kind of assume this is where a door would be if they needed to separate animals once again. And we'll go into a bit more detail and add some kind of like little bits to imply that is in fact a door. Moving this kind of staff building a bit further in, so it kind of looks into this holding pen, and I think it ends up looking pretty good, if I do say so myself. And you can see over there's a big animal door so that animals can be moved in and out. But yeah, have a guess in the comments below. whoever guesses the first animal that's going to be in this park, and that's going to be a very tricky thing to guess, but if you do guess it, I will pin your comment, and I will say thanks? No, not thanks. I'll say congratulations. I think you're not going to get anything physical, but that's it's pretty cool if you do guess it, so. But yeah, just adding some blocks over there in the corner. We're going to stick with this nice, like, blend of deserty and savanna-y and these faux rocks together across this build and across the park as a whole. This just ends up looking really good. Opening up the door a bit just to show that it is in fact a gate, and it can be opened and closed. With this holding pen, I think it ends up looking pretty good. Nothing's gonna go in here today. We're not gonna have any animals today, so don't worry about that right now. But yeah, it's gonna be quite fun. I think it's gonna be a really fun build overall, and hopefully I'll be able to stick with it and not like completely drop off the face of the earth regularly. No promises though. Here I'm just building a bit of an elevated platform so that staff can actually walk into the habitat, into the holding pen, but be quite a ways away from the animals, so they can monitor it, so they can maybe even get them to come up close and administer medicines or things like that. Just to, I think it ends up looking pretty good. If I just say so myself, it looks very much like, what I expected it to look like, I suppose. I had a reference for this, and it was a very useful reference to have on hand. And I don't follow the reference exactly. That's not really what I would recommend. If you use reference for your build in Planet Zoo, and I do recommend you do use references, but what I would recommend is don't follow them precisely. I would say just get the vibe of it, see individual elements you really like and add them in, but don't necessarily follow them to a T, because I think that kind of limits you a little bit. Add in your own like creative flair, anything interesting you think would look good, add in all sorts of stuff like that. But yeah, we're coming up to the very end of the episode now. There's only a couple more things I need to do really. I think I add in another bit of that fence, the elevated walkway, reaching up to the other side. And just got quiet a bit just because I heard something outside and I was like, what is that? But yeah, no, adding in, what was I saying? No, adding in this little pool of water, and I'll add in a little bit of that elevated walkway on the other side as well in a second. But yeah, a little pool of water here for whatever animals are in here to have a drink, or maybe a little wallow in there. I'm going to put in only a little bit of water just to show that it's kind of dried up, and blend it in with the ground as well to show like dirt's been piling up here and maybe it's not been used super often, something like that. Adding in some vents as well. That vent decal is so useful in so many different contexts. It's great. But yeah, adding in loads of these scratch marks and these like chips just to show that it's really kind of like a weathered thing, and maybe the winds and stuff, and just from general use things are kind of like chipped away. I think it looks really good. Adding in some plants as well, because of course it's all wet, there'll be plants. And yeah, I think it ends up looking really good. Here I'm just finishing it up with adding the second gate here, and of course going to add in that elevated walkway I was talking about on the other side. But yeah, I hope you all have enjoyed this first episode of this park. I'm not going to put the title in the title of the video, the title of this park and the title of the series, just because I want to be cheeky about it, I suppose. But I do hope you'll enjoy it once the next episode comes out and I kind of reveal what this whole thing is going to be all about. And I do hope you're all having a good time wherever you are, however you are. I hope that you're all doing well and enjoying your summer or your winter, I suppose, if you're on the other side of the planet, or if you're on the equator, you're enjoying your I don't know, it might be either the wet or dry season. I know at home it's definitely not any different from the rest of the year. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, all of you, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.